hunter-gatherer past. You will find that we worked 2 hours, 3 hours a day, and it wasn't even work. We did things which kept us alive for 2 or 3 hours a day, but those things were part of our cultural life. We probably loved them. We probably really enjoyed hunting and gathering. I mean, after all, that's what people do when they have free time and money. You know, the rich people go hunting and gathering.
We look at people who have broken out of the cycle of being so embedded in work. It's been a crisis in their own life that's brought that about, perhaps getting in our cars or getting on the underground and going into work every day. There's lots of other ways we can live our lives, and that's become clear to everybody.
We're not enhancing life, but suppressing the people we wanted to be.
For the sake of income, a job that might be alienating, tiring, work. But this isn't just a kind of cultural problem or a kind of work obsession or ideological brainwashing so that people are obsessed with work. This is really an economic problem. People overwork because they have to. They have to make ends meet. The Uber driver who drives around 7 days a week doesn't do it because he's being kind of culturally brainwashed into working hard, but because he has to do that.
It's not just our employers that treat us as only having utility value, but we look at ourselves that way. And without getting too spiritual on you, I think we've got to accept that, we have intrinsic value. You have to earn your keep in order to stay alive, but you don't have to earn your keep in order to be worth something. You come in as a valuable, dignified, conscious human with a soul. And if you can accept that, then everything changes.
Where we find ourselves right now is we have climate breakdown, we have automation, and we have an aging society. We are being forced to rethink our whole value system.
For 150 years, economists have been dreaming of this vision of how we will become so productive eventually that we'll only need to work 10, 15 hours a week in order to acquire the things that we need to live well. And that vision has never come true.
The interesting thing is that as we've transitioned to a digital age, we're still using that extractive, controlling, industrial age model. And so people said that digital would disrupt capitalism or disrupt business, and they're acting like it's some kind of revolution, but it's not. It's an extremely reactionary movement where we're using digital technology to reinforce the same kind of extractive, automating biases of industrialism, only we're doing it on digital steroids.
The state and businesses are working together quite closely to ensure that the economy is profitable for the people who own the stuff, people who own the capital. And doing that requires, you are part of the undeserving poor, you're lazy, and therefore you don't deserve access to the state's resources. And that's obviously something that you see going back, several hundred years, where you had the poor houses and the people that were seen as kind of too lazy to work and forced to take horrible labour in really horrific conditions.
We're using digital technology to reinforce the same extractive, automating biases of industrialism, only we're doing it on digital steroids.
It kind of takes away that economic whip that's behind us when we make choices about where to work, how much to work, and so on. We might make those choices in a more autonomous and thoughtful way with the backing of economic security. Time to think is probably one of the most essential ingredients of freedom. If we see free time in this way, then we might see it as an issue of distributive justice in the same way we see money as an issue of distributive justice. Maybe governments should be thinking about introducing policies to make sure everybody gets their fair share. Time to think is one of the real casualties of today's kind of long hours culture. And I think time to think is really essential for freedom, to think about the roles that you're in, the habits that you have, the priorities that you have. Are they really your priorities? Did you inherit them from somewhere? Without time to think, we have no time to reflect on these things.
Those are the sorts of things that will make people be able to live a life with security and not be forced to work as many hours as they do right now. Got here? One big factor that we don't talk enough about are some of the economic instruments and measures by which we measure how well we're doing as a society. And one of those, of course, is gross domestic product, or GDP, which is just a sense of adding up everything we've produced. And that may be arms, for instance. It also includes all of the major ways in which we pollute the environment. It is not a measure of success. It's not a measure of well-being of society. It's not a measure of happiness. It's not a measure of health of society, of child poverty. In fact, it takes all of those things out of the equation and makes it even worse. A target that makes us all feel sick.
The easiest way to get off that treadmill is to try not to strive for anything. Most of the things you do, try to do them for their own sake rather than for something else. Or you're doing that for something else, because you'll never get there. There is no place to get. The sooner you go, okay, I'm alive right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. We intend to accept full responsibility for our errors, and we expect you to point them out when we miss them. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. And that is why our press was protected by the First Amendment, the only business in America specifically protected by the Constitution, not primarily to amuse and entertain, not to emphasize the trivial and the sentimental, not to simply give the public what it wants, but to inform, to arouse, to reflect, to state our dangers and our opportunities, to indicate our crises and our choices, to lead, mold, educate, and sometimes even anger public opinion. This means greater coverage and analysis of international news, for it is no longer far away and foreign, but close at hand and local. It means greater attention to improved understanding of the news, as well as improved transmission. And it means, finally, that government at all levels must meet its obligation to provide you with the fullest possible information outside the narrowest limits of national security. And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and for the first time in 17 years of effort, a specific step has been taken to limit the...
All of my dogs, they so paid, and the only thing to kill them is owe it. All my life, they be trying to keep me down. All this time, never thought I'd make it out. No, no, no. Put them on display, oh yeah, I rap with a certainty. I have a sense of urgency, a message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with. Now they looking nervously, and I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better. See, I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet next to me.
What you say, and I didn't do that. Do shit my way. That's again, so you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make.
What's up, Chad?
Yeah, I'ma do it my way.
Just smart enough to run the machine. What's up, Chad? What's up, Chad?
Social media platforms, they ratting on Facebook, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. I can't contain it, I'm coming.
All right. Let me welcome back to Positively Honest Podcast. You know what I'm saying? Where we freestyling. I would say happy, you know what I'm saying, Tuesday night. You know what I'm saying? This Tuesday night, I hope you guys are having at least a good Tuesday night. You know what I'm saying? I'm just chilling. But I just wanted to, point it out a few more things. Like, obviously, we're talking about, I want to cover little topics before, not much going on, but what is the news really? What are they reporting? What are they talking about? What are the, you know what I'm saying? Why am I lagging? I don't know. I don't know why I'm lagging all of a sudden, you know what I mean? But we're just gonna keep on going though, because we got a few more things that we have to cover, guys. I don't know why I'm lagging. This shit is just outrageous, dog. It's like every time. Why the fuck? Alright. It's really having a hard time, but you know, it is what it is, man. What else are we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to start over, you know what I'm saying? So, but I'm sure by now you guys have seen the President of the United States, Joe Biden. It's obviously, I think he's still in Maui. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys already know the tragedy that happened in Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, there was a fire. You know what I'm saying? We still don't know what really caused the fire. You know what I'm saying? How the fire got really started. Who started the fire? You know what I'm saying? We still don't know. And obviously, they're saying there's still investigation. You know what else is still going on? You know what I'm saying? They're still trying to figure it out. How many people died? Okay, because the death toll is still rising. It's well over 100. Last time I checked, 110. Okay, I'm sure it's, you know what I'm saying, even more than that by now. Okay, so if you see any update, so you know, it's keep on rising. It's keep going up and up, because there's a lot of people that they still couldn't even figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Who are they? Couldn't even identify, which is sad. You know what I'm saying? So my heart goes to, you know what I'm saying, and my heart is with you guys. You know what I'm saying? I pray for you guys. I hope for those of you guys who got, you know what I'm saying, affected. For those of you guys who lost family members, I cannot imagine how you guys are feeling. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, for that reason, you know what I'm saying, there were a lot of backlash. So when the president went there, you know what I'm saying, even though they tried to make sure, you know what I'm saying, to show the media, you know what I'm saying, like a more rosy pictures. You know what I'm saying? More like, oh, look at the president of the United States visiting, you know, where the disaster happened. You know what I'm saying? Look at him. He's being more responsive. But that's not true. Okay?
Nope.
A lot of people are actually criticizing him because it took, you know what I'm saying, it always takes longer, you know what I'm saying, for the president of the United States to actually, to, what's that word I'm looking for, to actually respond to a crisis inside of the United States. But if it's outside of the United States, it's within hours. And a good example, obviously, is the Ukraine situation. You know how much money the United States already donated, or basically just, you know what I'm saying, gave away to Ukraine for the name of democracy. You know how many tanks, you know how many Abrams tanks, you know how many the jets, the F-47, and so many, the tanks, the weapons, you know what I'm saying? It goes on and on and on, the support. And obviously the United States support way more than any other country, including all Europe. The United States is the one. Obviously, they're going to say, oh, because the United States, you know what I'm saying, is the richest country on this planet. But they got nothing to show for their own people.
New World Order.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just, if some of you guys be like, what? What the fuck? That makes no sense. You're right. You know what I'm saying? In a perfect world, you know what I'm saying, that shouldn't happen. But guess what? We're living in a time of crisis, okay? And if you just ignore that and you think that, oh, we're living in a time of paradise, there's nothing happening, you're delusional, okay? And you're definitely...
We in the matrix, my nigga, we in the matrix. We in the matrix, my nigga, in the matrix.
You gotta make sure, you know what I'm saying, you're not really connected, you know what I'm saying, to the matrix, because your life depends on it, okay? And I'm not gonna play whatever happened, but the real topic, at least, you know what I'm saying, not whole a lot topic. You see how I'm lagging? They don't even want me to stream anymore. It's just wild. They've been, I don't know if you guys seen some of my latest videos that I spent hours and hours blocked. Some of them partially blocked. It's just outrageous. I can't do shit. They see a black face, man. They just do all. No, I'm just playing. But there's something going on. And I already know because I keep it real. I keep it like positively honest. You feel me? So they can suppress me all they want. It's not a matter of if. You know what I'm saying? It's just, at this point, it's just a matter of when. You know what I'm saying? Because my voice is important. Regardless how much they try to, you know what I'm saying, censor, block, and just discount it. And, you know what I'm saying, just, oh, that voice doesn't matter.
Stop the cap.
Go ahead, try. You know what I'm saying? You don't like my voice, you probably just don't like God. You're just hating on God because just God is using me. You feel me? What you hearing right now? Nah, let me just not go. Let me not just let me not just go religion on you guys. But anyways, what I really wanted to cover, since they don't, before they even block me or fucking shadow ban me or before they slow me down, what I'm trying to say is I'm actually having a hard time to speak. Okay. What I'm trying to say is you probably at this point might or may not even know that your cell phone, yes, I'm talking about your cell phone. If you have a smartphone, if you have Android or Apple or any kind that runs on rechargeable battery, congratulations, you're part of the problem. And you'd be like, what do you mean? What do you mean I'm part of the problem? What the fuck? I'm just you know what I'm saying, a normal poor, you know what I'm saying, middle class American. What do I have to do with the people in Congo, the children that are being enslaved in Africa? What do I have to do with it? Get it? Here's the answer, okay? Your companies, these companies that you actually admire, like Apple or Samsung, or some of these companies are actually lying like to your face. And the deception is not something new in America. The deception, it's something that they are pro at it, okay? At this point, they're the only expert who good at propagandists, okay? They know and learn how to manipulate you guys. They learn how to fucking, you know what I'm saying, do a marketing that get you attention, regardless how much you know what I'm saying, ignore their attention, okay? So they fool you guys, and you keep upgrading your phone. You keep upgrading your iPhone 14. Now we at iPhone 15. A lot of you guys are looking for, you can't even wait for the iPhone 15. and then iPhone 16. It keeps going on and on. But what you're not understanding is that the battery of that iPhone that you're using right now is being digged on the ground by 6 years old kid, by a mom, by an older person, by a sick humans, by a people that don't have any say so or any, like these people. See it for yourself right here. See it yourself right here, okay?
Vertige et la peur. Vous êtes faussement heureux, vous troquez vos valeurs.
New World Order.
Tell me about it. See it with your own eyes. It's like slavery all over again. But hey, if you live in America or if you live somewhere in the West and you have a little bit of peace or a little bit of comfortable life, yeah, you're struggling, but you want to, like, you know what I'm saying? You're just a little bit better. You got something to eat at least. But these people don't. They have to actually dig this shit just to get $1 or like 50 cents so they can buy something to eat. Forget about going to school. Forget about safety issues. Forget about living like a human being. Okay? But we just ignore it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, maybe they will take care of it. And these companies will never take care of this shit, because why would they? When they can lie to you guys, you know what I'm saying, and just manipulate you, thinking that, oh, we'll solve these problems. Don't worry, guys. You know what I'm saying? What is that word that we usually hear? Sustainable, whatever. Go green. Like this climate thing going on nowadays, where in California they want to ban all cars. Like you can't even make cars that run on gas anymore in California. In 2030, all new cars that are being produced should be electric vehicles. And where are the batteries coming from? You guessed it right. And who's digging those batteries for the Americans and the rest of the world? The children in Africa. You know what I'm saying? The Congo people, who their land is being basically trashed and making it like it will be unusable soon. Okay? Just like, you know what I'm saying, Hiroshima. Because this is a fucking toxic. Either you believe it or not. But of course you won't believe me that if you live in California, if you live in New York, if you live in fucking Florida or Texas, or, you know what I'm saying, from your own comfortable house. Why would you give a fuck about people like this? Why? It's not that's why? Why would you give a fuck? It's easy for you to just say, oh, I can't do shit about that. It's easy for you to just say, oh, I can't do shit about that. Oh, well. Well, at least, you know what I'm saying, I want you guys here from the actual author who risked his life, okay, and his livelihood, his family life, basically risked everything that he got just to bring to you guys the truth, because they don't allow cameras in these sites that I was just showing you guys. They don't really allow. You see this? Let me show you. You see this?
Collect dirt. The kids help by packing it up and washing it.
You see this?
They also sort through it, looking for minerals. It's not a good life for children. We just don't have any other options.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the media acts like this story don't even exist. Hey, look at that way. Look at the other way. Don't look at this way. Okay? Look at Russia. Russia is the bad guy, okay? They're the ones who are attacking Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? Look away about this. Don't worry about, you know what I'm saying, the new iPhone. Don't worry about the batteries.
New World Order.
And most people be like, okay. Okay.
New World Order.
We fucked, bro. But anyways, my point was, shout out to Redacted channel. Whenever you guys got a channel, whenever you guys got a time, please check it out. The Redacted channel on YouTube. They're brilliant, amazing couple. Okay, they're married. Here is Natalie. Her husband is Clayton. Okay, amazing people, honest people for the most part. Okay, and I really like them, so check them out. Okay, and give them a like. And also the author, Sadiq Kara, if I'm saying it right, he got like courage. The courage that Sadiq Kara has, probably 80 or 90% of the people that are living today don't really have, unfortunately. Okay, the heart, the blood, the courage, the dignity, the need of caring for another human being, the honesty. It's just not so many. Not those people are not around anymore. Yeah, you can call me an old guy, of course. Those people are not around anymore. And actually, why would you be honest? Why would you have standards and, you know what I'm saying, have a courage when the opposite is really encouraged? And if you do that, you know what I'm saying, your life becomes easier. But if you really try to live your life in an honest way, in a dignifying way, they will do anything to fucking do whatever it takes to fucking destroy your life. If that means they will do anything to take away your means of making money and surviving, your means of, like, your security will become absolutely chaos. They might even put you in jail in America, the land of the free, the home of the brave. They will lock you up. There's no fucking, you know what I'm saying? It used to be days where we used to actually abide by at least follow the Constitution. Not anymore. We just look at the Constitution and they interpret, or they just use it their own ways. You know what I'm saying? They just twist the words around and they're like, oh, the Constitution backs of what I'm trying to say. Like, what? You're taking away my freedom of speech, but you're gonna claim national security and you're gonna take away from my, like, what? Told y'all, man. This is not the America that we knew, man. You know what I'm saying? The people are good people. The American people, majority of the Americans I get people. It's just the government, bro. It's just like, God damn.
New World Order.
This one world government is just outrageous, man. The inequality continues, bro. The inequality fucking continues, man. Okay? And I hope you guys at least
a best-selling book from this year, but it is not. Are your electric vehicles more green than your gas-powered cars? You may need to think twice about that after listening to this upcoming interview. Recently, I sat down with Siddharth Kara. He's the author of Cobalt Red, How the Blood of the Congo Powers Our Lives. This is a best-selling book from this year, but it is not a feel-good book. He exposes how the EV revolution is destroying the lives of cobalt miners in the Congo, and it's absolutely awful. And terrifying.
Damn.
So I hope you enjoy this interview. It's eye-opening. Let me know what you think of it, and let me know what you think if you've had a chance to read this book. It's something that we all need to be cognizant of as we continue to promote green policies that have a consequence that maybe we don't think about. Well, my guest today is Siddharth Kara.
Bro. I hate when these fucking shit keeps lagging, dog. God damn, bro. I fucking... They really don't want. They just love fucking dog. For real, bro. Like what the fuck, bro? And I always make sure that like Peter is good, like from my side, like it's just outrageous. Like what the fuck? Let's see if we can play.
He's the author of a new book called Cobalt Red, How the Blood of the Congo Powers Our Lives. It is a bestseller, but I warn you, it is not a feel-good book. He has gone to great lengths to expose how many of us are dependent on cobalt, the mining of cobalt, which runs every rechargeable device that probably you have in your home, and how many human lives are destroyed by this from Congo. So thank you so much for joining me. I've really been looking forward to talking to you.
It's my pleasure to join you for the conversation. Thank you.
So can you summarize your findings about all of the slave labor that goes on in the Congo and how so much of it is kept from us, and just maybe give us a snapshot of how devastating it is for these human lives?
Well, the summary is this. Right now, there's an enormous invasion of the human rights of the people in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, as well as massive environmental destruction and toxic contamination relating to the mining of cobalt. Now, the reason this is important, as you mentioned in your remarks, cobalt is used in the manufacture of almost every lithium-ion rechargeable battery used in the world today. So every smartphone, tablet, laptop, and crucially, almost every electric vehicle, and about 3/4 of the world's supply of cobalt is mined in the Congo in utterly destructive, hazardous, miserable conditions that almost
3/4, 80% of. Damn, bro, like 80%. Like that is sad. 80%? 80? Bruh.
Because these are cultures where women are regularly assaulted, not just exploitation of children, but also slave labor, where these children are basically forced into working for these, what do you call them? The guy you call Zeus in the book.
Negocian.
Okay.
And there's soldiers, there's traders, there's militia, there's Republican Guard. There's a whole array of people who are using violence to coerce the local population, including children, to get cobalt out of the ground. And the reason for this is there's just this feverish scramble. There's so much demand at the top of the chain by tech companies and electric vehicle manufacturers. And as we said, almost all the cobalt comes from the Congo. So there's this enormous fever, this rush, this scramble to get cobalt out of the ground as quickly as possible through whatever means possible. Everyone up the chain, from the companies at the top all the way down to a crazy soldier on the ground. They're all preying on this population of people who are so poor and vulnerable, and who we can't live without, because you and I can't function for 24 hours without cobalt.
Yeah.
So we rely on all this violence and misery and suffering in order to conduct our daily lives.
Right. So it's incumbent on us to not be willfully ignorant about it. When I mentioned to my husband that I was reading this book, he says, "Oh, no, I've read the Apple press releases." He's a fanboy. He's like, no, they say they only use sustainable and humanitarian practices. But you point out how they can say this with plausible deniability because of these depots, these middlemen where they buy from the depots and then they don't have to see the rest of it. Can you explain that?
Yeah, there's a bit of a shell game that's happening that allows companies at the top of the chain to say, well, I'm buying from ABC Mining Company, and ABC Mining Company tells me that there's no child labor in their supply chain, and they're using sustainable practices. And the reality is, when you actually get on the ground in the Congo, you see none of that is true. It's all marketing, it's all puffery and PR. ABC Mining Company, all the mining companies, there are children digging inside those mines.
Look at that, chat. Imagine that, chat. That's inhumane. That's inhumane. Nobody should be going through that.
These have clear-cut millions of trees, polluted the...
If you think you have nothing to do with that, as a human being, karma is a bitch. It gets all of us.
Carry on with your gadgets and cars. So there's this disconnect between the stories told by the marketing...
Big disconnect. Propaganda, deception, lies that have been told to the American people. And majority just believe it.
And that ground truth out into a world that has no idea what's happening.
One of the things that was haunting is that there's no real architect or engineering there to say, we're going to engineer some tunnels and then we can go down and safely mine cobalt.
Why would they give a fuck about Africans? Let them do the dirty work. We just get the mineral that we need to run our cell phones in the West, in the United States, right from our backyard or our cabin.
Swaths of countryside to extract copper and cobalt, nickel, that are used in the batteries. Now, when I say large swath of countryside, the largest mining concession in that part of the Congo, meaning the territory they're allowed to rip apart for copper and cobalt, is the size of London. And there's 15, 20, 25 of these concessions. So there used to be hundreds of thousands of people who lived in that territory. They were forcibly displaced by foreign mining companies, and now they have no other way to survive except to try to scramble back onto that ground where they used to live and dig cobalt out of the ground with their bare hands to earn $1 or $2 a day. Now, you mentioned the most hazardous thing, which is the tunnel digging, because as you go a little deeper, meaning 50, 100 feet down, the grade of cobalt, meaning like the purity of it, increases. So they might earn a little more money. Instead of $1 or $2, maybe $3 or $4. So this is the only way they have to survive. There's this pressure to earn more, so they have enough food to eat. They dig these tunnels. There's no rock bolts, no ventilation shafts. Cobalt is toxic to breathe. There's no supports. And every week these tunnels collapse. Now, Apple, Tesla, Google, Microsoft, Samsung, all these companies don't talk about that. They don't talk about the truth, but the ground is telling us what's happening, and that is children and young people being buried alive to feed cobalt up the chain.
The story.
But if it's not your children, you know what I'm saying? If it's not your children, then Why would you care, right? It's weird. It's weird. If it's not your children.
Stop the cap.
Nope.
We're going to put cameras up. I noticed you spar a little with him on Twitter saying this is not really a solution.
Nope.
Can you explain that?
Well, this gets back to that kind of corporate nonsense and PR and puffery that's put out at the top of the chain to sort of misdirect.
The lies, the ads, the full of propaganda in the ads. It's just mind-boggling.
I'm going to put a webcam in front of the mine, and if anyone sees a child going in there, you let me know and we'll audit it and we'll deal with it.
Oh, for
well, what do we
goodness
say? Right. These mines are as big as cities.
Yeah.
Are we putting 25,000 webcams to cover the entire thing? And what happens if they walk in at night? What happens if they walk in the other side where there's not a web? I mean, it's just such nonsense. It's so silly. What needs to happen is Elon, Tim Cook, all the rest of them need to get on the ground, understand the reality, accept accountability for the people digging their cobalt out of the ground, and then start talking about solutions rather than sitting 10,000 miles away, minting money, and putting out these ridiculous statements that, oh, we'll put a webcam in front of a mine that's the size of New York City, and that'll cover it.
You know, one thing that just fascinates me is just off topic real quick, okay? Sometimes it's just funny to me how two things can be true at the same time. How God created an amazing human being like this guy who is dedicated his life and putting his life on the line just to tell the truth, just to help another human being that he have no connection or relation or that's not even from his country, okay? But just because of his heart, you know what I'm saying, his dignity, his courage, he's putting all he got on the line. But it's funny how God created that amazing human being and then at the same time created some piece of shit human being who just prefer, like, who just all they care about is just the piece of paper. The Benjamin, they don't give a fuck how many people die. They don't give a fuck how many people starve. They don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? If the world, I don't know about that, if the world ends, they probably care because these motherfuckers want to live forever. But guess what? That's not happening, bitch. You gonna die. You heard me, Elon? Sooner or later, just like any other human being, your day's gonna come. Maybe gonna be natural way, maybe you're gonna get a disease, maybe something happens to you, maybe you get into Tesla car accident, maybe your rocket fucking explodes. You know what I'm saying? And I hope those never happens to you. But it's possibilities, okay? And your day is bound to happen, okay? Same as you, Tim Cook. And there might be a special place waiting for you guys. And it's very hot. Okay? Like, hotter than Tesla battery. I promise you that for sure. Okay? Hotter than the sun. I tell you that for sure. The sun that you trying to use to charge your battery. I guarantee you. The special place that waited for these motherfuckers is hotter than that. You feel me? Because how the fuck are you going to tell me you got all the money that you need in the world and then some, and then some. And you can live with what you got the rest of your life, and then some, and then some, and help out all your family members, anybody that you want, and it still have, and then some, and then some. But then you still greedy as a motherfucker, and you'd rather have that money, and of course you worked hard for it, but you'd rather have that money just sitting on your fucking bank account while the rest of the world suffers and dies like every day out of hunger. And you know what I'm saying? But you're like, oh, it's a capitalist country here. But the truth is, the poor stays poor. You know what I'm saying? The haves keep getting richer. You know what I'm saying? But we just believe the lies. Typical human beings that live in the West.
And we'll see the kids who are walking.
Or there was a non-government organization out of Washington that said, oh, we're going to do audits. We're going to do that regularly. And then when you asked when were the audits done, they're like, we never did. No, that didn't happen.
There's this whole smoke screen.
Right.
Because understandably, how are you and I supposed to know the truth of what's happening on the ground in the Congo? We would accept the statements of tech companies and NGOs who say they're doing certain things. Why wouldn't we? But the reality is it's all just a charade.
One of the questions I have is whether or not any other country is mining cobalt in a humane way, because it is not only mined in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but it is maybe the most robust area for cobalt mining.
Well, last year, almost 3/4 of the world's supply of cobalt came out of the Congo. So when you talk about cobalt, it's just Congo. So if you look at a chart,
that's it.
You know, market share of cobalt production, it's Congo.
Think about it. The majority of the fucking 3/4 of the cobalt mining happens in fucking Congo, in Africa.
Australia or Canada to look at their cobalt mining operations. I'm sure they're perfectly fine. I'm sure
the rest of the world runs on Congo. Think about that. The rest of the world runs on. Their electric batteries comes from fucking Congo, a small country in Africa. So you don't know. In case you don't know.
People in the West get uniforms and PPE and decent wages and safety equipment, but
because they're American. They're American.
What's the explanation other than, well, it's the people in Africa and they don't count as much?
Americans, you know, consider themselves, I guess, they're better than. Let me not say that.
China's.
I like mature American people.
From some infrastructure improvement done by China's investment there. But it's almost this major cultural divide that doesn't seem to want to fix itself organically. You know, the Chinese workers are benefiting from cobalt mines and tax favorable programs. The government is not using that tax dollar.
Well, if the country, you know what I'm saying, the United States, who consider themselves like democracy, a democratic country, doesn't give a fuck about, you know what I'm saying, doing a cobalt and mining cobalt in the right way in Congo, why do you think the Chinese will give a fuck? Why? Obviously they don't. They wouldn't give a fuck. Because, you know what I'm saying, the people that say, oh, we fighting for democracy, don't give a fuck. China will let you know they don't give a fuck about democracy. At least they're not lying right to your face. Like they don't give a fuck about democracy. But the United States, they don't give a fuck about democracy, but they tell you they give a fuck about democracy. That's the wild thing. Like what?
To raw materials and resources like cobalt, like copper, like lithium, and so on. And in Congo, they've invested billions and billions of dollars to build roads and assist in infrastructure development, to provide loans to the government in exchange for access to copper and cobalt mines. And in particular. They struck these deals at the dawn of the battery revolution, more than 13 or 14 years ago. So they saw where the future was going. The future was rechargeable batteries, and they locked down the supply chain. So they run 15 of the 19 major copper cobalt mining concessions in the Congo. That accounts for about 70 to 80%.
And what more do we not know about other countries in Africa that their resources is being just sucked every day?
Batteries in the world. So they have that supply chain locked down. They pay little concern to the human rights of the people in Africa, of the Congolese people. When they have road projects or other things that they're committed to, they don't even hire locally. They actually ship over Chinese people, get them to do the work for penny wages, and then send them back. So these development projects don't even provide employment for the local population. So it's a very one-sided relationship. The only real beneficiaries in the Congo.
God, I'm waiting for that rocket. Just send it, God.
In order to sign deals that give China access to all these resources.
These billionaires think that their bunker, the nuclear bunker, will save them.
Fees for school, which is not free, which is about $5 per child per month, right? And so if tech companies really wanted to do something and fund schools and things like that, I mean, if we're really talking about diversity programs, like this is a great place to get started. So you don't give us, though, as the reader, much to do. There's not much we can do. We can't get to the Congo. You could barely get in. All of the paperwork that was required for you to see things and not even bring your phone. You really put the solution into geopolitics. So is that a fair assessment? That there's no we need to boycott cars or anything. There's nothing really we can do other than educate ourselves.
You can do a lot.
Is that fair to say?
No, there's more we can do. I mean, you're right. It's not up to you and I and consumers to get on the ground in the Congo and fix the problem. I mean, the truth is, we've been made unwitting participants in an enormous horror.
Oh my God!
When you bought your smartphone and I bought mine, when someone buys an electric vehicle, they don't tell themselves, 10 Congolese children are going to die so I can plug in my battery today. I mean, that's the reality. But that's not the bargain that's in our minds. That bargain has been forced upon us, and now we're unwitting participants in it.
The propaganda,
the responsibility
the
for the supply chain resides with the companies creating demand for the resource. That's where the solutions have to start, at the top of the chain. There's a lot of bad actors every level down. But if it weren't for the enormous demand placed by tech and EV companies for cobalt, the entire chain wouldn't exist. Now, you and I can't get on the ground and solve the problems, but we can spread awareness.
Correct.
And this is how social change happens. First, a horror is revealed by truth seekers.
Yep.
Then people spread that truth all around the world. And inevitably,
please spread it.
Throughout history, when the world learns of a horror, there's a community of conscience that bands together and says this injustice cannot stand, and they drag the rest of humanity forward with their force of will, their moral authority, until that injustice is set right. And that's what will happen if we do our part, which is to continue agitating, spreading awareness, flooding the world with this truth that the Congolese people are screaming out if we just listen to what they have to say.
Well, I appreciate that you have done this. This is something I had no awareness about. And I do recommend your book. Like I said, it's maybe not a beach read that's going to be fun, but it's really well organized. And I think it's got an amazing commitment to telling this story that otherwise was not told. So thank you.
Thank you to Sadiq. If I'm saying you're wrong, sir, I apologize. You are one of the. You inspire me. You give me courage. You give me hope. Okay. Honestly, because in a world where I have less and less hope every day. When I see stories like that, actually gives me hope. You know what I'm saying? It inspires me. It lets me know that there are people like me out there who are fighting for the better of this world. Maybe they want to just leave this planet just a little bit better than they found it or when they were born. Okay. I really hope you know what I'm saying, you spread this news because you already know how the mainstream media is all connected. They will only spread what's the things that help in their agenda. Okay? Like arresting Donald Trump. Okay, like their former president of the United States. Give him 91 criminal charges. Make sure you just, you know what I'm saying, bombard him, all this shit. Like, make sure he just don't run at the end. That's what they trying to do. They probably trying to just tamper with the election. And then later on, they will tell you, oh, you cannot even talk about the election. But you already fucking dapping and fucking, like, you already playing around with this shit. How is this not interference? How? How are people not outraged? Because there's no way. They just want you to fucking vote for Joe Biden again? Really? That's their strategy? Even when it's clear that nobody wants this guy. Nobody. But they just want to, like, just go ahead. Force people. Just don't say this is a democratic country. Just don't say that shit. Because it's not true. It's just not true.
New World Order.
It's just not true. Okay? But you know what I'm saying? I count on you guys. Okay? Because if you really tune in, you have consciousness. You're conscious. You might know or you might not. Okay? You are part of those small, important people that still left. The people that with hearts. People with dignity. People with courage. Okay? People that move forward. Humanity. You're probably one of those people. Okay? And I would love to be part of your life. I would love to be your friend. I would love to, you know what I'm saying, help one another. So if there's anything I can do, please let me know. Either shoot me a message, you know what I'm saying, on Twitter, PHP Jacob. I barely use Instagram, but you can shoot me a message there. You can also leave a comment on this video, you know what I'm saying, and I will definitely respond. Okay? Hit the like button, subscribe. We gotta hold these motherfuckers accountable, because we cannot just keep drifting. Because if we do, you know what's gonna happen? This is what we're gonna end up. This is what we're gonna end up looking like, Chad. We already there, Chad. We already there. Yup.
We in the matrix, my nigga, we in the matrix. Hey. We in the matrix, my nigga, in the matrix. Hey. We in the matrix, my nigga, we in the matrix. Hey. We in the matrix, my nigga, in the matrix. Hey.
Man. But you're not one of those people. You're not. You're not. Those people are already dead. They're just breathing, okay? They're waiting to just be buried. You're not one of those people. You're actually conscious. You're breathing. You know what's going on around you. You know the truth. You know what's happening. You got critical thinking skills, okay? You are one of those people that have what you would call common sense, which they say is not so common anymore, okay? So I would actually, you know what I'm saying, give yourself some credit. You know what I'm saying? Because I guarantee you they will not give you any credit. So you better fucking give yourself some credit. And with that being said, there's one thing that I say before I go, and it goes something like this. Make sure you take care of your mental health, because you know they don't give a fuck about you. you know they don't give a
The
fuck
real owners
about
now.
you.
The real owners, the
Okay?
big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't.
Nope.
You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers.
New World Order.
Workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club.
We're not in
It's
it.
the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long, where they tell you what to believe all day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged, and nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all.
At all. They don't give a fuck about you. Make sure you take care of your mental health, man. Make sure you take care of your mental health, okay?